Hey. Oh my god. Spider. Well, welcome to Gruesome Twosome Reviews. I am Jay Gruesome.
I'm Jay Putrid.
And today we are going on a rant. I feel like we're... Sorry, just opening my dad light. I feel like, once in a while, aside from doing our typical reviews and lists and stuff, we are going to have our time to shine through and rant because that's what we do on a daily basis. And
shit, that's what we do during our reviews.
Yeah, that's what we do during our reviews. Reviews anyway. God damn it. But this is a free-for-all, non-scripted. Since typically we do have somewhat of a script to go off of, it is a little bit more organized, but, this is just good old fun.
Just the melee.
We're just nerds.
Being haters.
Oh, yeah. That's the best way to be.
Back in my day, I remember cinema was different.
Hey, and that's the topic of our rant today. So, Jay Putrid, what do you think about modern horror?
And let's say a travesty.
Oh.
My take on modern horror right now is that all it is just an amusement park ride. That's really what it is. It's just selling you tickets to show you something crazy with zero substance. It literally just gets you in, gets you out, gets your money, and onward to the next thing. It has no long-lasting merits. It has no artistic values. It's not trying to do anything outside of conning you of your money. And it's just very shallow, vapid, and overall depressing because there's a lot of good. There really is a lot of good, independent
sitting over
stuff.
Here, damn, I thought I was pessimistic.
Because the irony is, there's a lot of really good stuff, and there's a lot of really good ideas out there, and it's like I'm not one to just shy away from something that's a remake because it's a remake. I'm not one to shy away of something big budgeted because it's big budgeted. You can see bullshit from a mile away. It's easy to spot.
And you can smell it too.
And you can smell it.
God damn.
It's dank as shit because it is shit.
Yes, he pretty much hit the nail on the head saying all this stuff because, that's my main hatred and what I really despise about modern horror, modern cinema overall. And I feel that these people pumping out these movies literally don't give a fuck anymore. It's kind of like we understand that we have to cater to the horror genre, especially catering to the fans. And what we are bombarded with is reboots and sequels. What the fuck? There's so much more you can go off of. One thing that we brought up one time ranting about this was, where's all the urban legend shit? Where's anything that hasn't been done before, please do it because that's what we want. And I think I can easily speak for all of us horror fans when I say that. Sure, it's nice to have a sequel every once in a while. It's good to have a reboot, especially if it's a well-deserved reboot. But stop rebooting stuff that's already perfect.
Or shit that's been out, not even, fucking 10 years.
Yeah, don't reboot something that has been done 10 years ago. That's already too soon. That is too soon. A decade may seem like it's a long time, but it is too soon. There's still audiences, newcomers, that can still see this movie. I would recommend, if you're going to do a reboot, do something that was a great idea that was executed imperfectly the first time. A reboot is a chance to shine, let this original story shine through in the best way possible. And if you can do that in a reboot, congrats, because there are some really good reboots out there.
You got John Carpenter's The Thing, which tops the original. I love the original, I really do, but I am not gonna lie, it tops it. You have David Cronenberg's The Fly, again, classic movie, revisioned, reimagined, and reworked to the point where it was a completely different movie.
Oh yeah.
I love Francis Ford Coppola's Bram Stoker's Dracula. I really love that. It's a retelling of Dracula and a slight remake to Todd Browning's Dracula.
Yeah, especially with more, like, I guess, blatant eroticism in the movie. And you need to have that in vampire movies because vampires are sexy.
Or even, let's talk about Tom Savini's rendition of Night of the Living Dead. That is a very good remake.
Yeah, and then it's even more special because he did, throughout the years, work with George A. Romero, and that's fucking awesome. So for him to retell the beginning of the Dead movies, like, that is freaking...
And just, like, twist it to where it also touches on not only past relevant things that have happened, because it was a very political movie of its time, and then you have the remake, which is just as political. Like, it has a political in the sense of a social commentary.
Yeah.
It really did, because in the original one it dealt with racism, and in this one it also deals with racism and sexism.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
And just that ending scene in Tom Savini's retelling of Night of the Living Dead just adds more to that feeling that you are just disgusted with humanity, that they are treating these... Yes, of course, on the surface it's
reanimated things. Corpses or monsters.
Yeah, but they are the symbols of something else. They are still us. And it's a very scary, dark ending, but what a great reboot.
And a shitty one is Night of the Living Dead in 3D.
Yeah, especially if you watch the 2D version. Like I did. I bought it for $2 and I was super stoked. I'm like, Night of the Living Dead in 3D. And then it says in like small print in 2D.
That's how they get you.
Yeah.
The small prints.
They got me. I'll tell you what.
The stars. Foiled again.
I know. It's happened. At least I got rid of that bullshit. But...
And then you have original stories. Like, Insidious is not the best film out there, but it's a really good story. It had really good elements. I enjoy it. I understand it's utter crap, but it's good crap, you know? Like, that's a movie
At least
if I saw it in the theater, I'd be like, yeah, I don't feel bad about spending this much money on it. Like, maybe The Conjuring was one that I'm just like, okay, because I saw The Conjuring in theatering, and I thought that was really good, and I was like, okay, I don't mind that, like, I had to pay this, like, X amount of money for a fucking movie ticket. I was enthralled, I was entertained, and I came back wanting to, like, actually own this movie. And I think that's another thing that
I came back scared as I was the first time watching it, because that is a truly horrifying movie. As far as, like, if you want a good, modern, haunted house story, The Conjuring is where to go.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
What I would like to say is, I've mentioned it before, that The Witch has to be my favorite modern horror. I haven't seen any other works by Robert Eggers, the director. I'm aware that he has some short films out there that I want to get my hands on. But, excuse me, he makes me very excited and hopeful even for the future of horror.
Yeah.
And that movie, even though it, I saw it in theaters, and even people in the theater that I was in didn't receive it very well. One douchebag at the end had the audacity to say, "That's it?" And it's like, wow, you're a moron, sir. You don't know anything about horror. If you don't actually appreciate horror, you're not going to appreciate The Witch. And for those who aren't the biggest horror fans and did appreciate The Witch, just know good cinema. And it's a really beautiful, eerie story. And a lot of people didn't realize, it's a folktale. Like, it is literally part of the title, God damn it. So people that were expecting this roller coaster of a movie with all these cheap jump scares really missed the point of this and really do not have a true love for horror, because we do have a true love for the genre, and we'll watch anything, even if it does have jump jump scares. Jump scares executed well are very effective. And if they're all throughout the movie and they're a false scare, say a character comes up from, behind another character and it plays that dun kind of music, you're going to desensitize your audience very early on, and when it builds up to the big true scares, you're not going to have a reaction. They're going to be desensitized already.
It's going to be laughable.
Yeah, it's going to be laughable, because I have to admit that with many modern horror films, I am like rolling my eyes or busting up by the end, because it's just so ridiculous. And then it's like, we've already seen this done under many different titles before, so why are you continuing to use the same fucking things? Like, yeah, sure, it brings in the cash, but what is it really going to say for the future of horror? Are you making a movie that is everlasting, or are you just making a temporary little piece of shit?
And that's the one thing that I really hate about modern horror, because it's just, all it is just, a lot of it is just nothing but it's pollution. And the thing is, look, you have companies like Arrow and Shout Factory that are like digging up these like obscure films, and some of them are really good and some of them are just utter crap.
I'm sorry, but he didn't mention Severin, which is...
Oh, Severin too. Oh my god.
We love you, Severin.
But they're coming out with these amazing box sets and these amazing special editions and restoration of these films, and it's like, that's like, Hollywood, listen to me, make something that fucking kicks ass, has a storyline that fucking stands the test of time, and then just come out with really good special editions of it, because that's how you constantly make money.
Yeah, and
if you want to look at it at a business standpoint. Now, at an artistic standpoint, just give us something good.
Yeah, exactly. Coming from two artists, we have art and music both out there, and like, I do want to get into filmmaking personally, and we both do, as more of like collaborative projects, especially when it comes to making stuff that complements our music and visual arts and stuff. Definitely want to dabble in some stop motion stuff.
Yes.
And that's just stuff to look forward to, you guys. But anyway,
maybe some voice acting.
Yeah. The way we would approach these things is how Hollywood should be approaching these things when they have this insane budget. And it just kills me thinking that there's no heart in it. And sometimes you can tell that somebody was in the right place, and whether they just be an amateur or they literally just don't have enough knowledge of the genre to really create something horrific, sometimes it's not really their fault. But most of the time, for what I see, it's just, well, here's your movie, that's it. And when he was talking about, standing the test of time, he's completely right. Why wouldn't you want to make a film that stands the test of time and could be relevant to future audiences? Or, if it is of its time, be eligible for a very good reboot, a retelling of something that would appeal to modern audiences. So,
look, Hollywood, if you want my money, there's a reason why I fork out what I do for special editions of certain things, like,
because they're great movies, and
they're great
I want to
movies,
see
and
those
they're great
special
packaging, and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Like the Reanimator. I do have to pull this out because this is actually a really good special edition that Anchor Bay made years ago. Reanimator. Yes, it's the movie itself, special edition. It has interviews, commentary, multiple commentary, stills, and all that. But it came with a sick-ass Reanimator highlighter. That's pretty cool, Like, that is... That, like, this right here is the cherry on top. But...
Hell yeah.
Let's say Universal came out with... Like, got their hands on Reanimator and put something, like, years ago, and... because they gave it a shot, and they put it out, and then they come up with something like this, maybe, like, in a steel box, not, like, some cardboard... flimsy box. They could have charged a little more, and I would have I would have gladly paid, and they could have made like a haunted attraction, like Halloween Horror Nights. Like if you want to make something that you're gonna base like your rides, or like continually make a profit off of, make it something that people will constantly come back to, because when you do that, that's when you have something special, and not only special but lucrative. And I think another thing that, like, there's multiple things that hinder a lot of modern cinema and horror cinema, which is overall advertising. The Witch, going back to The Witch, and that douchebag that was there, the advertisement, I remember not seeing like much advertisement for The Witch, but when I did, it was advertised as this crazy modern in your face horror film, your atypical jump scare fiasco.
It was and we don't know if that was the work of Robert Eggers. I highly doubt it, because I praise that man for what he's done with that film.
And just one, that's from one film too.
By the way, we're super excited to see your reboot of Nosferatu.
Yes.
Which is probably my favorite vampire movie of all time. So, yeah, you better do a good job, bud. Because
another thing I also want to touch on is, another thing that really kills it is people who don't understand the source material. The studios getting their grubby little paws on something and just doing these like fucking edits, or just forcing writers or directors to kind of just give them what they want. The whole thing with just test audience is just stupid. And not only that, but what even kills it too, and what I have seen as of recently, is too many cooks in the kitchen.
Yeah.
And that comes down from like the writing, the directing.
That's what I have a problem with too.
Everything.
Especially, it's, I don't know why most people, or more people, don't have a problem with this, because you're watching this movie and it's going on this one story, and then it always seems to switch hands either halfway in or towards the end, and you come up with this movie that is just totally unrelated to what the hell you were trying to tell. And we understand that that is a product of multiple writers and scripts being switched in between hands,
and the studio execs not being happy.
Yeah, fuck them. And this is exactly why we don't go to the movies anymore. We won't go out and spend our hard-earned money to go see these movies because of bullshit like that. We're tired of it. And the funny thing is, you're trying to appeal to this wide audience. Yeah, sure, that's great for your theater releases. But who is your backbone? Us horror fans.
You're literally ignoring your bread and butter.
Yeah, you're ignoring who is really keeping the genre alive. If it weren't for us, horror wouldn't be restored the way it's being restored. You wouldn't have opportunities for reboots. You wouldn't have opportunities for sequels. So stop ignoring us and stop ignoring our opinions, because it's bullshit.
There's a reason why people fork out a ton of money for a fucking restored special edition copy of, certain films.
Yeah, like, especially if it's their favorite movie being remastered. You best bet that, if one of our favorite movies is coming out, we're going to get that, next release, because it's awesome. We love the artwork and we love the special little features.
And then the stories behind a lot of the making of these films. The
Criterion
stills.
Collection is a great way to represent that, because
it really is.
They've got these, yes, they are pricey, but, just wait till they go on sale. Like, they're all worth the amount of money that they are being put out there for. And it's because you get this beautiful, like, lush background story to all of the films.
Plus, they're like just painstakingly restored.
Yes, one that is one of my favorites that we've gotten more recently, and this comes down to just everything. And I have yet to, we have yet to watch the special features on it, but just reading what the little. It always comes with a little booklet too, which is,
or a poster or something. It always comes with something.
It's so awesome, but Kwai-dan I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. You know, I know my Japanese syllables. But, this one is just an insanely beautiful movie. You want to talk about, like, an artistic movie? This entire movie looks like it's just set on a stage, because it was every what was it built in, like an airplane hangar,
an abandoned like craft carrier hangar.
Yeah, so every part of this movie is handmade. Like, you could even tell just down to like little snowflakes. It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's an incredible film. And especially if you love traditional Japanese kabuki culture, you will definitely love this movie. It is, ooh, man, that was one of my best picks from the Criterion Collection. But point is, they're restoring these films, and they're giving us what we want, and they're representing them correctly. If it's a special film and it's a very a special film to bring up out of history, why not represent it in the most beautiful way possible and restore it in the best way possible? So, hell yeah, good job, Criterion Collection. Definitely check those out if you're just really a lover of cinema. There are a ton of horror releases from them as well. It's just great movies that stand the test of time.
They did an amazing restoration job on Carnival of Souls. That was really good. The first time I seen Carnival of Souls, since it was public domain, just your atypical, you get it in a horror pack. It's very rough. It has quick jump edits. It's not really cleaned up, but like the Criterion restoration of that, even on Blu-ray, is gorgeous.
Yes.
And Criterion, they're not the only ones that have been doing this. I've been like pulling out this stuff. You also have, like we said, Severin, which is doing a bang up job on it. You have fucking Arrow that's been doing it. Now, I like Arrow, but man, the price tags on some of these things.
If you love the movie, it's worth it.
Yes.
But sometimes it's just one of those movies that, both of us are kind of like, I don't know if that should go for that much.
Chopping Mall is not worth 35,
yeah,
40 bucks.
That's
I'm
very
sorry.
pricey. Regardless of the fact that it may
enjoyable movie, but not really something you would spend that much.
Yeah, but all in all, we are collectors and we want the best for our collections, and I understand why they release these things in the way that they do. Now, going on about the rant of what the hell is wrong with modern cinema, since we just went on like a little side story here. Another complaint that I have, that I thought was just a great idea when I first heard about it, is Universal's Dark Universe. What a cool concept.
God,
especially for
thing
those.
Was just,
eternal groan. Like, why?
Talking about slipping on a banana peel.
Oh yeah, because we get that, all these big companies are doing their, like, Justice Leagues and stuff like that. And,
thank you, Marvel, you
Avengers.
assholes.
Yeah, fuck you, Marvel. Marvel movies are terrible, by the way.
Go eat a can of cat shit.
Yeah. So, Universal, you had this brilliant thing.
It's basically your legacy.
Yeah, your monsters
movies are Universal's legacy, regardless of anything that ever came out with.
They stand the test of time. These characters stand the test of time. Modern day audiences know characters that were established back in the 1930s.
It's crazy
that
that
is
like
amazing.
You have 31, like Todd Browning's Dracula in 2017. People still look at vampires as Dracula. Bela Lugosi's Dracula.
Yeah.
Even though, Twilight, blah, 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 bullshit. It doesn't matter.
No one cares about that if you actually care about vampires.
Everyone still looks at vampires. When people think vampires, and people draw vampires, it's always Bela Lugosi.
Yes, it is. And, you have this brilliant thing, and then you just... we're just wondering what type of fuckery you're
The monsters
doing
do
here.
not need to be the Avengers. Now, having a dark universe with all these tales coinciding
that is
makes
awesome.
perfect sense, because
But
you
we
have
don't need
House
a-
of Frankenstein, you have
Yes.
House of Dracula, you have Frankenstein meets the Wolfman. You have these things that are already in canon, from like years ago. So like,
Yeah, we
instead
can't
of
exclude Hammer from this either.
Oh, yeah.
Though it's on the other side.
It's across the pond, but I mean, it's still the same thing. Like if Hammer decided to come out and be like, because Hammer has been reestablished, if Hammer decided to come out and say, you know what, we're going to make our universe ourselves, and actually makes really dark, very gothic, atmospheric
Hammer
horror
has always
like they
been...
have been when they were, just running really strong back in the day, that would have been the ideal way Universal should have gone with these things. But to try to make like a toy line out of the Universal monsters, it's like they're
You guys are
already
fucked
toys.
up. Yeah.
Why don't you try to actually do something?
Restore these...
Go back to like Francis Ford Coppola's Bram Stoker's Dracula.
We want a Dracula
We want-
movie like that again.
And we
especially...
want like an Invisible Man like that. Maybe with... See, the Invisible Man, I think, could have some more campy humor. But like, keep it...
Stop
in that.
fucking with things like
The
Mummy
Wolfman, like
and...
all this stuff. Oh my god, the Mummy.
Yeah, we didn't even
I would
bother
rather
seeing
watch
that.
The Mummy with Brendan Fraser before I watch that hot mess, because at least that's
Tom
entertaining.
Bruce, we hate you.
You're fucking...
And your weird middle tooth.
Your can opening tooth. You goddamn Scientologist.
Yeah, we hate you. Tom
We
Cruise,
don't
if
need
you're
you-
watching this.
We don't need you running in The Mummy.
Yeah.
We don't need you or your running scenes.
We don't need you in any movies, just to let you know.
Yes.
It's not the 1980s anymore. You can go hide under a rock with, like, people like Bruce Willis and shit.
Oh my god, that
guy
man
needs
has
to
became
stop.
such a sad
He
person.
scares me. He literally thinks it's, like, 1987 or something.
The last
We
good
get it,
movie that
dude.
Bruce Willis ever was really in was Pulp Fiction.
Yeah.
I don't...
Wait, didn't
he
the Fifth
came out...
Element come out afterwards?
Oh, yeah.
you,
You,
can't...
know what? Okay, I stand corrected. The Fifth Element was very good. And yes, I did see Looper, and I think it was completely convoluted. I really don't like it. And I don't like fucking... What's his ass that came out in it, too. Joseph Gordon-Levitt's Mr. Don John. Fuck you, Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Yeah, baby Heath Ledger, fuck you. Well,
Calling him
You
Baby
know.
Heath Ledger is a compliment.
yeah, I don't want to compliment him like that.
Fuck
So,
that ass.
what the point is, though, is that you have this insanely cool idea, especially when it comes to us monster fans and horror fans, and then you, like, totally... You don't even care. That's the thing. You don't even care about us.
You care about the
Corbin.
profits.
Yeah, you care about the profits. But
first
even
and
then,
foremost.
if you truly cared about the profits, you'd pay attention to the fans. And clearly you don't. So the Dark Universe is a huge failure and will continue to be a failure.
It failed when they tried to fucking
what was
make
up with that
the Wolfman.
Yeah, Dracula
It
Untold,
failed with
I think.
Dracula Untold, and now The Mummy. Look, that's 3 fucking films.
Yeah, 3 strikes, you're out, buddies. So
Just fuck off with your Dark Universe. If you want to create a Dark Universe, make
let
real
Hammer
horror
do it.
films.
Let
Make
Hammer do it.
Real horror films. Cut back on the CGI. Use practical. Use CGI to
Use
accent
what the fans are
practical.
asking for.
You can do so much with it. I would have loved to have seen a fucking practical effect mummy with some CGI elements added to it in order to accent it more and to make it look more realistic. That's a perfect way. And that's another thing too, technology. You getting too big for your britches when it comes to technology and how you use it, because you're not like... I have seen it recently where they're starting to realize, oh, using practical mixed with CGI does work. It's like, there's a reason why fucking Jurassic Park worked, and it's still timeless. Yeah, some of the
Yes.
animatronics might be cheesy, but I mean, it still works to this day.
Yeah, it's still convincing to this day, and there should always be, there's an established rule already, is that there's a perfect marriage between CGI and practical effects. We can't achieve everything with CGI yet, so don't solely
They tried it in the 90s and the early 2000s.
You've already seen that hot mess.
Yes, Spawn was a hot mess.
Hey, Spawn is...
I love that film. That is
nostalgia!
Fun fact about me, that is actually one of my favorite superheroes / anti-heroes is Spawn.
Mine's
Al
Hellboy.
Simmons' Spawn.
I got some deep love for Hellboy. I love anything Guillermo del Toro anyway. I know that Hellboy wasn't originally just a movie. I have some love for Mike Mignola too. Especially the amazing
Todd McFarlane, even though you're some arrogant fucking airheaded
I personally
prick.
don't like him.
No, he's... That's what happens when a nerd gets self-confidence. He becomes a McFarlane.
He becomes an asshole. So,
hot-winded asshole.
I think that concludes...
He's a fart. Todd McFarlane is a fart.
Yeah, we hate a lot of people, so, we'll call ya out. We'll call it like we sees it.
But, I guess just to summarize our little rant,
we're not a big fan of what is happening, and we're very concerned with the future of horror. So, when we do see something that is very worth mentioning, we are going to do so on our channel, and we're going to praise it for what it is. And that doesn't come without consequences. Every movie has its flaws.
Yes.
And we will state the flaws. And maybe these future filmmakers can watch people like us and hear our opinions as really deep lovers of this genre and film overall. And,
especially
just get some advice that, you may not be able to make the perfect film, but make something good.
Especially now with what I've been seeing a lot in Hollywood is they are paying attention to the internet, and they are paying attention to the backlash, but they're doing it in such a wrong way, like in an old school way. They're not embracing the technology. They're using it as free focus group stuff.
Yeah,
that's really what they're using it
so
as.
They're just that's also another thing before we end this. It's focus grouped movies, and we're just really tired of it.
It's when you look at, what we have to say about,
you might get support from certain communities, but overall you're not really caring that you're making a something that is going to be remembered in cinema. You're literally, if I see a new movie and it doesn't hit me as striking, and there's got to be and that's even going on to the next day. I won't even care about it the next day. I won't even care about it an hour afterwards. So, and I think you can all agree with it, but I think that concludes our little rant for now. We're gonna do this less often. It's just something fun because we are nerds, and this is what nerds do. We just rant.
If I have my last thoughts on this is a lot of the stuff that's plaguing modern horror cinema is essentially plaguing all modern cinema, because the whole point is to get the money, make back revenue of what you created or what you had your hand in, and then move on to the next thing. We have seen as of recent that that's not the best business way to kind of go at it, and it's not really the best way in general, because in the end all you're doing is screwing yourself. You could have something that consistently makes you money instead of 60 different things that make money for the time being.
Exactly. It's about making an everlasting film, not what's going to help you temporarily. So, yes, as I was trying to say, that was a good afterthought. I think this concludes our rant for now. We may do this maybe in 3 videos, but if you have a suggestion on what you'd like us to rant about next, go ahead and put it on the comments below. Go ahead and put your views on modern cinema in the comments below, because we would love to hear about stuff like that. Nerding out with other nerds is probably one of the best things, and probably one of the most rewarding things about this channel. So
I agree, and
yes.
I feel like I feel it's even better with the fact that I get to sit next to the woman I love, and I get to do this too.
Yeah, we are literally best friends. So I guess go ahead and comment below. You know, we have our Instagrams that many of you viewers are getting our YouTube information from. So if you like to keep up on our art, you can see my Instagram, you know, at blackcandlejg, and then we have flesh_vomit here.
Yes.
So go ahead.
You'll get to see a lot of photos of our cats.
Yes.
The cats.
Oh, we haven't brought up the cats yet.
Yeah, the cats that usually run rampant and like destroy everything when it comes to like recording videos. Like you'll hear their little bells and you hear them like spazzing out.
Oh, they're
and
super annoying, but we love them to death. Those are our children, because real kids, human kids, suck. So
we don't need kids, we have cats.
Yes. So until next time, you Gruesome Twosome fans.
See you next time.